Hey, we are Friendship.
And you're listening to Recess with Spinelli.
I know a love that keeps me calm in the storm. It keeps the blood inside of me warm. Wherever I go, it never leaves. Like a suitcase of memories.
You are tuned in to Recess with Spinelli here on WSPN, Saratoga Springs, New York, Hoxton FM, London, England, the International Radio Festival, and the New York State Music Blog. And today we are here with the electronic duo from Los Angeles who made quite a splash last summer with their last song, Capsize. And this is Friendship. Thank you so much for joining me today.
How you doing? Good to be here.
So I understand you're on tour with Bastille across the U.S., and it almost looks like you've been on tour for the better part of a year by this point.
That's how we want you to think.
We've been away for a while, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of took the spring off. We did a lot of festivals this summer. Took the spring off intentionally to try and finish up an album that just habitually takes us forever to make any kind of music. We think we trust the process, but it is nonetheless it's just kind of frustrating how long it can go sometimes.
Actually, looking at some past references and interviews around November, December, it looked like you were hoping to get this published around winter and spring. So is that just a typical thing with music? Is that you always set a deadline, then it always kind of gets pushed back?
Yeah, I think it's hard to, yeah, I mean, yes. In short, yeah, it takes a long time, especially with us because we're super picky about things, and we try to give stuff time to, like, breathe and live, and I think being able to walk away from a body of work you make is crucial. You need that like buffer time to decide if something is actually really good, you know? So you try to like create a little separation from it. So we're in that kind of like, we've separated a little bit here, we're coming back, we're wrapping up some music now, and we're looking at maybe a release this fall, and then doing some more releases in January, February, March, April, and dropping the body work sometime next year.
When are you aware of the point where you have to walk away from something to look at it from an objective standpoint?
When you start messing it up.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah.
I think you are aware of a few wrong moves in a row or so, and you're like, I'm getting in my head about this, and actually a lot of times too, it's referencing the original version you did, and you realize there was more of a character to that original version, and so. That's one of the hardest parts about recording, and just even the art of recording is trying to obtain that emotion and that feeling that triggered you to start making the thing in the first place. Especially when you take as long as we do to make something, that you can be 8-9 months later working on it, and the feeling goes away after a while. So you have to try and make sure you're always reviving it.
So does that come in, or does that play into having a good work and relaxation balance in a way? Being able to take time off and relax allows you to look back at things properly?
Rest is huge, yeah. I think we for a long time, I think just kind of, especially last year, because we put out Capsize and that first body of work kind of just without a plan, really. We just put it out. Capsize kind of went, took off, so we were forced to just really pedal to the ground for about a year or so. Year and a half, and I don't know if we took that many pauses, but yeah, for creativity you have to rest, you have to just reset your brain, and you can't just keep doing the same damn thing for a year, you know.
There's such a difference for us in making music to playing it live, so I think when we have these breaks of going out on a festival run or like doing whatever, even this, it's like a 2-3 week run here, and even this is a nice break of things maybe not coming at the nicest time for us, but just being able to float between the two, it kind of helps keep things fresh, I think, for both.
Actually, what do you guys think of the statement "live to work" or "work to live" regarding music as a career?
Hopefully, at a point, it becomes that, but that shouldn't.
We've hit that. Yeah, we've unfortunately been able to make music pay us now, and we don't have side jobs anymore. But I think I think we ever want to get to a point where we're making crappy decisions just to make more money from our music. I think we always want to make the music and then have the stream of money come from it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't want to influence it too much in a different way.
The idea of selling out doesn't so much have to do with like partnering with a big company or doing these things that are commonly probably identified as one who sells out, but they're more. I think it's as soon as you compromise your integrity in the art and start making decisions for the sole purpose of profit or whatever it is, and then that to me starts to feel inauthentic. And I think we always check each other on it too, but our authenticity meters are always kind of, I don't know, we hope to keep them high.
So if you had to try to put in words what that authentic feel is, that integrity of friendship, what would it be? What are you guys going for, if you will?
Feeling. It sounds so stupid, but it's and this is such a subjective thing too, but can you feel it? Can you feel what you're saying? Can you actually envision yourself singing this on stage, living and breathing this message, whatever the hell the message is in the particular song? But I think you know when you're lying to yourself, and I think you know when you're being contrived. I think other people can smell it too and hear it and stuff. So I think it's always just trying to be like, no, is this truly at the core something I would do? I think that's a constant question we try to ask, and we always try to push that though too. There's a weird boundary between trying something new and doing what you are, I think, and maybe that's the most interesting ground we try to reach. I don't know.
I think, the gray area in that is when you start, I don't know, for me, I tend to be a very heady, kind of deep thought, kind of, that's kind of my MO anyways, but I like to think I'm fun, and so it's that balance of like writing a dumb pop song because it's fun and letting that still be authentic to us, and hopefully we can be classified as intelligent pop, but kind of who cares also. If it piques the authenticity meter, which I've never used that term in my life before, then that's kind of all that we care about.
Now, I mean, would you say the purpose of music is to trigger emotion through people, to kind of bring people together in a moment? It's best when shared with others rather than alone?
It's hard to say the purpose of music. I don't know. I think that's a pretty internal thing. I mean, for me, music is just an expression of me and us, and but I think an awesome side effect of it is, it unites people. It brings people together. It taps into something that everybody feels and wants to grab onto, and
So I think that is something that we loved seeing when we're playing these shows is everybody under one roof, head bobbing to the same thing.
When you guys go to a show as an audience member, what do you look for, or what do you typically enjoy the most?
I don't know. I think it's the same filters we have when we write. It's the same, like, is this cheesy? Is this like real? Is this? I don't know. I think you can really tell that stuff. So I look for actually, truly, it's hard to really just be a fan now, to be honest. It's really, we're probably hyper analyzing stuff, like, okay, what are they doing with that keyboard, and how is this stuff rigged, and how is it all running behind the scenes. I think that's the majority of what at least that I do at shows now. Like, we're the worst people to go to shows with, I have to think, because we just sit there and we don't really move, and we just kind of are watching people. But we're still feeling it, I think, and I'll let him speak for himself. But,
This woman almost came up and started fighting me. I was at a Foo Fighters show, and I was just so into it, and it was like Best of You, I think, was the song, and it's one of my favorite songs of all time. And she was like, and I was just like, I don't know, maybe on the verge of tears or something. Like, I was just being moved by it, but ironically not moving at all. And she was just so upset that I wasn't like, going crazy. And I turned, I was like, I'm sorry, but this is like one of my favorite songs of all time. I'm sorry that I'm not experiencing it in the way that you would want me to. But I don't know. I think I think that. We look at, we kind of hyper-analyze things, but the performance side of it is something we look at as well, even all the while it being authentic and genuine. I think we still watch, like, how are they performing this, and how are they making it entertaining to watch, all the while doing it in a way that is who they are. Like, you get so many of these music nerds, like Glass Animals or whatever is one thing. The dude does not have an athletic bone in his body, but he just moves so awkward and weird, but you can tell it's like who he is, and you love him for it.
Totally.
I mean, regarding music and regarding your music on stage, would you say it is accurate, though, that the relationship between the audience and the musicians should kind of act as like a friendship and a give and take for each other?
Yeah, of course. I think especially in our show too. I mean, our name is Friendship, and we are friends, and I think the whole thing should feel like a campfire. Like we're all just sitting there and just kind of in an intimate, like this. I don't know how big this place is today, but at least a couple thousand. That should feel like a living room tonight for us. Here,
we're used to playing 100,000 caps.
No, it should be. It should be, to me, a real look into what we are. And I don't think it should be this. And there's some people that do it the exact opposite, and it's fine. But for us, I think we think it should be this inclusive, warm, welcoming thing where you can be yourself and feel who we are.
When the fever's gone and the road's to
I understand that you were doing this such a project since roughly 2013, so a few years before then. So, I assume it definitely caught you by surprise. So what did you have to change, obviously, besides ramping up your efforts, your work, and your production to make this possible?
Yeah, so much. I mean, I've said this before, but we've never, or for me personally, I've never experienced at one time more people trying to tell me how to do what we were doing, and that was a really unique, feeling for me. And at the end of the day, you kind of have to tell everyone to shut up, even those that you really love and really value their advice, and you have to kind of listen to your gut. And we have two ever-growing guts that we listen to, and so I think that was it probably brought us together a lot too, just the having to try and, whatever, for lack of a better term, be the bosses of this and run this thing. It was I think that was probably the biggest change that had to take place, aside from all the shooting music videos and doing all the little things fell under that roof to me, of us learning how to run this thing versus trying to. I mean, we had a team behind us at that point now, and after it started going, we put together a team, and now we had people that we were paying that we could say, do this, do that, and have expectations. I think before, people are doing things pro bono, and you're like, please, could you help us? And
that's probably the biggest growing pain you have to go through is how to scale it. Really, is because at some point this is a business, and yes, we love the music side of it, but you have to. Because prior to Capsize going, we really had publishing, that was it, and lawyers, and just people helping us. So then we had a label come on board, and that's anywhere between 5 to 30 people around at a time. And then we had management company come in, and we had agents come in, and then you have business managers come in. So you've got all these moving parts. And then we hired more people to work on the live side, and a tech and front of house guy. And so you've got 30, 40 people around you, and you're like, it's a lot to manage. And there's a big growth period we had to go through.
So the latest work that's hopefully going to be on the new album when it comes out, what was the one thing maybe that you had to stand your ground on, or something that folks were definitely critiquing?
We had to push back on timing a lot. We know we work slowly, but I don't think we would have come across some of these ideas without the space thing we talked about, giving a song some time. And I think a lot of people we probably shouldn't take as long as we do now, because there's we're kind of in the wake of Capsize still, and we want to catch some of that wake still. So yeah, people push us on that a lot to get stuff out soon, and we kind of no, it has to be right, and that's a very arbitrary scale. But
early on too, we were so adamant about doing things on our own, just because it had been so long since him and I had sat in a room and wrote a song together. And because when we were making our last EP or whatever, and Capsize and all these things, we were doing a lot of writing sessions, and because we didn't know, we just wanted to try and play music full time, and so we were writing for other people, we were producing for other people, we were doing remixes, we were doing whatever we could to try and get some money or do. I don't know. We didn't have a perfect direction, and then all of a sudden Capsize kind of gave us an artist career, and everything made a lot more sense of this is what we should be doing, and this is what makes sense, and this is what feels right. And And so then we're like, all right, they're going to go back in and make our own music again. And it was important that we tried to do it on our own, and whether we failed or not or whatever, I guess that maybe remains to be seen, but try swinging the hammer on our own. And
yeah, so people kind of coming in and giving us lots of ideas and advice on, you should work with this guy, this guy, this guy, this person, this, yeah. And we kind of were like, no, just leave us alone for a little while. We went up to a house in Ojai, north of LA, and kind of in the woods or whatever, and just wrote a bunch of music, and I think we have some really good songs, so we'll see what happens. Maybe they suck.
Well, I'm excited to see them on stage, but before you guys do go on stage, any final thoughts or anything else you would like to add that you think is important for folks to know?
Yeah, and thanks for listening, and you as well, and anybody that's given half a crap about us, we really appreciate it. It means the world.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have been listening to Recess with Spinelli here on WSPN, Saratoga Springs, New York, Hoxton FM, London, England, the International Radio Festival, and the New York State Music Blog. We have been speaking with the Los Angeles electronic duo FRENSHIP, and their EP Truce is out and available now.